Not sure what happened there. Just gonna wait a moment and we're gonna see if we can come back. Look like the stream failed, but I still have internet connection, so I'm not sure what's going on. Hello. Alright guys, sorry about that. Hey everyone, welcome back. It looked like the feed dropped, so I apologize for that interruption. So hopefully we're going to get back up. Sorry about that. It looks like the feed dropped initially, so hopefully this should be fine. It just gave me a message saying, it basically turned off the feed and said, something went wrong, try again. So sorry about that. I think I caught it right when it happened, but it did look like a bunch of people had dropped off just like very suddenly before. It went from like 40 viewers to like 7, and I was like, I don't think I've really pissed off a bunch of you guys that badly. So I thought it was okay, but I was like, oh, so I think something happened with the feed. So I'll just give a second to get everyone to come back. Oh, there we go. There we go. Hi, everyone. Sorry, it looked like Facebook or my feed kicked off, or I don't know what was going on. So hopefully you guys are still doing good with your tentacles and they're going. Oh, thanks, Bonnie. I'm guessing that's happened before to you. Yeah. So annoying. I'm definitely a control freak, because I really dislike when things don't go my way, especially when I plan for it. And I don't like disappointing people. It's important for me that you guys have a good experience, so it bothers me. Hey Patty, you're back too. Yay. I'm glad. Sorry about that interruption, guys. Agreed. That was a good use for dry time. Let everything kind of settle. It just got really quiet on the thing, and I was like, oh, this is very strange. It's like the scammers have hacked in. They're upset. They're upset no one was clicking their links. Just like shut me down. All right. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. Okay. I'm going to put this back on where we're at. So I pretty much set up where I wanted my octopus to live and where the tentacles are, and I'm just playing with, which now I feel like that's going to dry a bit more than I'd wanted it to, but that's okay. C'est la vie. It's acrylic. We can play, no problem. Put some more black in there, it's all good. So I was just kind of playing a bit with putting in a little bit of substance, texture into my octopus man guy here. I don't know why he's a man guy, but now he is. Okay. So I'm just going with black, and I'm just kind of re-entering it back. So I don't want it to be like, I don't want it to be a solid gray. I want it to have that kind of like, almost like a chalk drawing, really. Like it kind of has that, it looks like chalk that was kind of smeared, or you know, like a dirty chalkboard. That's the vibe I'm going for. Dirty chalkboard vibe. So I want to see the white. I don't want it to be opaque gray, but I want, and the way I'm going to do that is I kind of create it opaque, and then I get black, and then I kind of throw it back into that color. So I start with like black paint in the fully black area, and then I bring it more into that grayer area that I've created. That's how I'm kind of doing that shadowing. Okay, I wanted a bit more white here. Okay, and I want a bit more of the highlight, so I want this to be a little bit whiter. And again, if we're doing wet on wet, which is what we're doing here, whatever color, so now I want the white to kind of stay on, but every time I put it on, it picks up black. So you kind of have to keep dipping it back into your white to keep white paint on there, and you keep layering it that way. Because the more you go over it, the more it picks it up, and then it just kind of creates like a gray, right? So I want this to be more of a white around here. Okay, and then I'm just going to streak it in a little bit. Oh, I thought I got another weird notification saying it was off. Kind of scared me. But we're good. You guys are still there. Yay. do want it to be a little bit more like this on this side here. I'm just kind of going back and forth with like the black and the white. Okay. So I want to keep this kind of vibe going. This tentacle, I want it to be more prominent. So I'm going to put in some color in here. Let's get white. Let's just slop it on kind of along where we created that line. If I go over it a little bit and it turns black, that's fine. Because we want there to be a bit of texture to this. And I'm going to get black paint and I'm going to start in the dark area. And I'm going to bring it in to the lighter areas. And that's how I'm going to kind of mix it up a bit. So get the black. I'm going to have to keep kind of re-getting it because there's a lot of white. You might need to wipe off the brush a little bit when you have too much of like a color you don't, if it's too light or too dark, depending on which one you're working with. So go get from the black area and bring it into the white and you create a really nice gradient. Cool. I want to dull this line a little bit. So I want that line to be a little bit more gray, this one. Just going to make it a little bit, throw a little bit of black into it. And get a bit of white, and then we kind of just do it as we go on the canvas there. I don't want that to be as prominent, so I'm going to get some black. Okay, I'm going to get black in the black area and just bring it into the gray. And just softens it up and it just kind of gives it a cool look that way. Okay. Hopefully everyone's back on. That dropped off before. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so we're just going to keep adding some more texture to the tentacles. What I also am noticing too, one important thing that I kind of missed as I was playing with this texture. So if we look at our inspiration image, I want to call attention to something here. So if you notice, wherever you see the suckers, I don't know, I think they're called suckers, that's what I'm going to call them, they're actually on a pure black background. See how this is pure black and the suckers are there. So it's a different, like, it's different from the top of the tentacle where there's no suckers and the bottom where there is suckers. So where the suckers live, it should be black, and where the top of the tentacle, the top of the tentacle, that's where we're going to have our shading and kind of make it look gray and kind of have that vibe. So I kind of did it a little bit off. So I did like my tentacle part here, but I didn't leave this room here for the suckers to be. So I'm going to put that in. I'm just going to add it underneath it. So I totally missed that in our process. When I was looking at it, I kind of was just playing with the tentacles and I didn't really notice that, to be honest. And I was like, oh, wait a second. So I'm just going to add with white, just like the line of where we're going to be able to put all the suckers on. So I'm just going to put that right. So this is a part of this tentacle, but it's like the underside of it where all the suckers live. Cool. Yeah, and I think that's going to work pretty nice like that. Okay, cool. And then for that one, what I'm going to do is So I'm just gonna shorten this a little bit because I want the suckers to be here, but I'm just gonna make this white line a little thinner. Thin white line. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that. Okay, and then from there, let's give this some depth as well. So we're just gonna put some, we're gonna keep that pretty black there. And let's put in some more, put some few like streaks of white in here. Let's get some black. Let's mix it up and get some nice gray, a gradient in gray. So funny today. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going back and forth with like white and black and just kind of like playing with how it's looking, giving it a bit of texture. I do want it to stay more black here, so I want it to be darker there and then to kind of become a little bit lighter as we kind of go up here. Okay, cool. Bonnie says you are diving into the gray waters. Yeah, exactly. I love it. All right. Okay. So I'm just gonna also thin out this one because I do want those like suckers to live in there. Ooh, that kind of, my brush that was cooperating so nicely, I kind of tilted it a weird way and then it didn't cooperate so well. It's okay. Again, that's why acrylic's great, because we can just paint over whatever doesn't work, which is why I love it. Okay, let's do more here too. And let's keep it a little bit lighter at the top. So basically my canvas is dry and I'm just putting white paint at the top here, getting some black paint, and then in the areas that are a little bit, that you can still see the back, I'm just kind of like painting on top with it, kind of just create kind of like a blend essentially with wet on wet paint. Trying to keep the integrity of like certain lines of the drawing, so I want to keep this nice and white around the head so we know that's the head. This doesn't go into the tentacle. That would look weird. Didn't make sense that way. Keep that line more gray. Okay, put more white. Okay. Get more black. Okay, I need more black paint. Stat. I want to keep it darker at the bottom, so I'm just going to start with black in that darker area, and then it's going to bring it up into that gray and the white and whatnot that I just played with there. And this isn't the fun part of Colourful Octopus. This is the boring part. Not really, it's still fun. But when we put the color on, that's when it's going to pop. I'm just kind of touching it with a bit more white. Okay. think I'm pretty happy with that guy. Let's see. Maybe I want a little more black going on, actually. Okay, I think that's good. Awesome. Okay, so what else needs some texture? We want that to be here too. So here, this one has some of those guys. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this one here is I'm going to change it up a little bit because I want to be able to see those tentacles a bit better. So I'm just going to get rid of that line for the time being. Okay, I want to get that going. I want to make it a little bit wider because I want those tentacles to live here. Okay, so we're going to keep kind of doing this style. I'm just touching this up because I want to make room for those tentacles to, not tentacles, those suckers to look cool here. I just want to create like a new line. So basically here's my tentacle, right? But here's where the suckers are going to be, and here's the top of that tentacle area, okay? So I'm just gonna, and for this I do want to keep this pretty white. Okay, and I'm going to keep this pretty white. Okay, but I want in here to be a little darker. So I'm going to get black on my brush, start in these areas, and then just like pull into where I just put in that white paint. I'm just going to pull into it, and then now you kind of have a, just starts blending kind of automatically, and you just can kind of play with it. Don't go all the way into it because you still want to have the pure white on the ends, but then it has, now it's darker in the middle and it kind of pulled into the area, so it works out nicely. It's like an easy way to create a cool blended technique. All right, and then for this loopity-loop, I'm just going to touch a little bit around the edge. I want it to be a little bit more gray, and then I'm going to fill it in with black because I do want that to be mostly where the tentacles are. There we go. I need more black paint. There we go. Go. Okay. Where are we gonna go next? I think we'll just go to the one beside it. Yes. Yes, we shall. All right. So, I do want to touch here a bit and just make this a little thinner. Make this white line slightly thinner. Go. Okay, and then I do the same thing here too. So it's some black paint on there, so I'll just use it up on this part here. Okay, so now, okay, I do want to keep this pretty white, so I'm just going to repaint over that line that I did. just to wet it so that when we put in some other colors, when I say other colors, I mean black, that's what we're doing right now. We're just creating some shadowing and just creating some texture with black and gray. Okay, I'm just going to make that wet and just bring in some black into this area. And it'll start blending a little bit. We're going to bring it up. We're not going to go all the way into the white because I want to keep it as a white line on the edge. Okay. Wow. That was still a little wet, but that's okay. It worked out. Okay, and then I want to put in a little bit more white on the black, just to kind of play with that a bit more. Okay, and I think I'm pretty happy with that guy too. Awesome. So I'm going to do the same thing here.